And here we are, cruising through the countryside. And this is going to be our second set of videos. We may get quite a few today. We're getting a pretty early start. And we are just outside of Kutztown, Pennsylvania. And we're near the Cutts Mill covered bridge. But there wasn't a real good place to park there. And we've got a lot of covered bridges ahead of us today. And I'm going to just leave the bridge unvideoed right now because it was not really a good place to park. But there's a nice old mill there you can look at. The stonework's impressive. But this is a nice pastoral setting here with the woven wire fence and some hazy sunshine and quiet roads. And Matt, what have we got in grazing in the field to our side here? Tell everybody. This is Curious Chris and Matthew James in our second set of videos here. Yeah, what have we got grazing? What are those animals?
Are those cattle or no? I don't.
What did I say they were? Begins with an O, ends with an X.
Oh, ox.
Oxen. Or ox. Oxen is the right word.
Oxen.
I think it's an ox if you have one. And it's oxen if you have two or more.
More than two.
So here's our oxen grazing. And, you know, everything looks kind of neat when it's brown and has some nice texture.
The car's coming, Chris.
That's okay. He'll keep going. We're not bothering anybody. He's probably wondering what the heck these people are doing, but I'm sure he sees other people out here. Okay, so here's our oxen. They got the long horns. I don't believe this is longhorn cattle, but just because they're awfully, they have awfully thick fur coats. But I'm not an expert on the bovine, so I'll leave it at that. They're either longhorn cattle or oxen. And they're having their morning munch on the field here. So here we are, just outside of Kutztown, Pennsylvania, on the Cutts Mill Road, which came off of Route 737. And our plan for today is we started up in Lehigh County, where Matthew lives. And we're now down in Berks County, and we're at the dot just above the S there in Berks County. And there's a couple covered bridges that are also shown on that map with purple dots. And there's a couple more down in Chester County. And there's also some state parks we're going to go looking for. So our plan is to spend some time in the Berks and Chester and even Montgomery County areas today. And we'll see what else we can find on these back roads, cruising through the countryside. And this is the second stop on today's adventure. We're mostly in Berks County today. We did the Cutts Mills Bridge area earlier. We didn't get to the bridge because there was nowhere to park, but we showed the oxen there. Now we're at another bridge. My cousin here is going to give us a little more information on it, but just beautiful farmland. Let's pan around for a minute. Look at this beautiful farmland. This is a mild day in late December. Got some real nice shadows from this winter sun and the silhouettes of these sycamore trees. These back roads are a great place to hang out. If you're into photography and you're into just something that doesn't look like a subdivision. This is unique. It's unique. It's not like anything else. So Matthew James, tell Curious Chris and everybody else, what's the name of this bridge?
The Greisman's
covered bridge. And what creek does it go across? Manatawny Creek. We got a guy up here fly fishing. I'm going to pause for just a second and get closer to the bridge, and we'll continue on. And here we are, continuing on a little closer to the bridge. Got some beautiful sycamore trees along Manatawny Creek here. They have the white bark. And the bridge itself is painted red, and it's pretty much brown on the inside. It hasn't been whitewashed like some of them. But we got some incredible farm buildings back here, all made of stone. And I'll continue on in just a minute here. And here we are a little closer to the Greisman's Bridge with a beautiful stone barn in the background and freshly painted wood siding. And just a real scenic area. There's some old farmhouses here. They don't look like they're being used. This farm may not be in use anymore. But I'm sure the pastures are. They're well kept. And I'll get another view from the other side. And here we are on the west side of the bridge, walking out, and this is several farm buildings here, several houses. This was probably a family establishment from a long time ago. And we got some incredible stonework here and just a real pretty setting. So this Greisman's Bridge is well worth your effort to come see. It's just, this is a textbook Pennsylvania Dutch scenery. And there are stone buildings all over this part of the Berks County. I've seen probably 300 or 400 today, some in town, some out of town. But they're all well built and well designed to last. Just a real pretty place to spend the afternoon. A couple little places to pull over here. And this is the area around the Greisman's Bridge. And we'll pan just a minute more. There's a huge church way in the background about a half mile away with a huge cemetery. So these are well-established communities. This area has been in agricultural use and suburban use in places for many years. So this is the older part of Pennsylvania. This is where the people came first. This is where they settled first. And the Pennsylvania Dutch farmers were outstanding craftsmen to build such long-lasting buildings and long-lasting bridges. And here's our next covered bridge on our tour of Berks and Chester counties, Pennsylvania. This is what I believe is the French Creek. And it is flowing gently and gracefully down through the countryside here. There's some beautiful farmland here and beautiful farm estates and buildings. And a freshly painted covered bridge here. We'll get this lighting just right. There we go. You can see the reflection in the creek. That makes it kind of neat too. And I'm going to pause for just a second and let Matthew James tell us where we are. Okay, we're back on tape here. Mr. Matthew James, tell everybody the name of this bridge.
The Cedar Hall.
Sheeder Hall. S-H-E-E-D-E-R Hall. Like a hyphenated family. So that's what we have here, and I'm going to go inside the bridge, Mr. Matthew, and take a look at some of the woodwork. Folks, just bear with me 1 second here. We'll start up in a second here. And let's take a look at the area around the Sheeder Hall Bridge. There's some beautiful farm acreage back here. A big white house with some horses in the foreground there. You can't see too well in the video, but they're there and they're gently grazing. We've got a couple streams that intersect here. Some beautiful white bark on the sycamore trees here. Here's a smaller stream coming in. A pretty nice day for auto touring. There's been a lot of traffic on these roads, but here we go. They've replaced some of the woodwork in here, but it mimics what the old woodwork was like. And the craftsmanship is just amazing in these bridges. The way they make these arches out of solid wood. I know wood can bend when it's green, and I don't know if that's what they did, or if these planks were wide enough they could actually get a gentle curve out of them from a long cut. If these planks were made from the original forest in this area, it's possible they could have had trees 3 or 4 feet across where they could get a gentle curve out of it. But some of these boards holding up this bridge are 25, 30 feet long, and they've got a gentle curve to them. So again, when you first fell a tree, the wood is pliable enough you can get it to bend, or you can steam it to do so. But even where they've replaced this wood, they've used the old-fashioned wooden pegs to hold it together. And so this is meant to look just like it would have. Sometimes the wood will decay or get some termites and it has to be repaired. So this is the inside of one of these covered bridges. Every one we've done in the last couple of days has had this bow arch design, I think is what it's called. And that really strengthens the bridge and lets it last all these years. And bridges in other states have all been replaced with modern designs. People often wonder, why do you cover a bridge in the first place? Well, when the only building material you have is wood, you have to keep it from rotting and swelling up from the weather. So that's the reason. The wooden bridges last a lot longer when they're not exposed to the elements, or at least to rain and snow. So that's what we have at the Cedar Hall Bridge. There's one more on the docket for today. It's not too far from here. Let's see if we can find a place to park there and do one more clip for today. And the late afternoon sun is casting a nice warm hue on the remains of an old mill here. This is Curious Chris, and I'm going to let Matthew James tell you the name of this bridge in a minute, but I've got some looking around to do here first. What we have here is this trench is the mill race. This French Creek has a fair amount of gradient, so you can capture water maybe a half mile upstream, and by the time the water gets down here, it's 20 feet above the creek level, and then you can put that water to work through what was a slot here in the foundation where the water wheel would have been, right in this slot. So again, the creek is dropping a few inches it's probably dropping 20, 30 feet a mile. So all you have to do is catch a little water, keep it at creek level, and then send it through a mill race, and you can get a lot of work done. According to the signage here, this mill was used to grind flaxseed, and the oil from the flaxseed was used to make oil-based paints back in the 1790s and early 1800s in the pre-industrial, I wouldn't say pre-industrial, at the start of the Industrial Revolution. I'm going to do a quick pause and let's take a closer look at this whitewashed bridge up the street here. Oh, okay, we're back on tape here. Matthew James, what's the name of this bridge and what does it go over?
It's the Raps.
Speak up.
It's the Raps.
Raps Bridge over. Not Spanish, not English, not German, but French Creek. French Creek.
French Creek.
French Creek, yes. And here's what we got. I'm getting a little closer to the bridge here. This one is not painted red, unlike the other ones we found. But it is got some white and some natural wood color. Maybe it was brown at one time. But again, beautiful stonework for the foundation. And very good workmanship. I'm going to do a quick shot on the other side. It looks pretty neat looking into the late day sun. So we're going to try that to finish this up. And let's continue on looking at the Raps Bridge over French Creek. Pretty busy little road here. We'll do what we can to get a good look into the sun here. It just makes for some interesting lighting here. And there we go. There's the angle I wanted for the lighting right there. So there's a small parking area here and a recreational trail that follows this French Creek. So a great place to hang out for a few hours if you'd like to get out and walk. And I can tell you, every back road around here has beautiful properties, beautiful houses, and beautiful scenery. You can't go wrong on any of them. So come out and enjoy this part of Pennsylvania. It's not too far from the cities.